Okay, we're glad you're here today. We're doing the Awana Springs training for both the quizzing and for games. We're starting off with Sparks. And sorry, I'm just kind of looking at the camera too. It's our first time doing a Zoom call, so we're going to kind of learn on this. We'll find out what works, what doesn't work. But thanks for coming out. We know there's ice and stuff coming, and we're glad that you're here. And for those at home, we're glad that you're here as well. So we're open in prayer, and then we got some stuff going on. So, Lord, we thank you for allowing to have Awana in this area, because we know it's a great tool for reaching boys and girls with the gospel of Christ, and that's our main purpose of doing this. We have fun with it for sure, but we want to honor you and increase the gospel through what we're doing. And we thank you for being with us today. In the name of Jesus, amen. Amen. So, again, Dave Rogers is going to come up. He has a few announcements for us, and after that we're going to follow with the Sparks, Sparks around the training. So, Dave, come on up.
And it is, again, different for us because you're sitting over here and the camera's over here, so you kind of have to do that whole sweep thing. We'll figure that out as we go along. A phrase you're going to hear a lot tonight is, it's on the website. If you go to greatlakesministries.org, under the Games tab, you'll be able to see a lot of the materials over here. If you need to have more sheets, if you need to have more booklets, if you need to have more other things, those can all be printed out very easily from there. Registration is open, so you can actually go into there and do the online registration. And so that it's one of those that you can click in, you can send the stuff in. It is set up for being able to take debit and credit cards. So if it's mandatory to send in a check, let us know, because some organizations can't handle that. The deadline is going to be by Youth Quest and Bible Quizzing, which is next month. The Thursday after is when we start creating the lineups. So if you call me on Friday and say, oh, I meant to send this in, that means we're going to have to go back and reset everything into there, and it takes quite a while to be able to get the thing set up. So if you can have it in, ideally by that Saturday, it works best. If you have extra teams that come in the middle, we will accommodate you as best we can, but we can't necessarily, if you call me on Tuesday of the week before the games and say, I've got an extra team, there may or may not be a spot for you. We did have one team show up extra on game day. It wasn't the Sparks, but we were able to figure out something. We had to have girls play boys, which caused a little bit of a kerfuffle. We do have new forms for the clubbers and for volunteers. Look for the GLM logo. We're all wearing the shirts with the GLM logo. If you have the old form, it doesn't name the right people to be like us running the games. Also, while I'm there, if you have to check the media release. If it's not checked, it counts as a no. That means we can't do the video, we can't do the things for promotion. We do have a way of tagging the teams so that we can know what we can and cannot record because of the media releases. And if we get some back of a kid's head, it might happen, but we'll do the best we can on that. But do remind the parents to be able to check that box in the middle. And also, while we're here on the volunteers, we do request that you have one volunteer per team that you send in. Two volunteers per team. Jay was pointing it out.
Per team.
Per team, not per church. We also ask that you actually talk to the volunteer in advance. I was put on a stand list because two people said, I don't know who this person is, I don't know why they're asking me to come out there, and so people weren't able to get the information. It turned out their church had just not told them they were a volunteer. So please actually do it. We do suggest that you give the person the form, because that also has on there 3 boxes to check that are critical to us. I'm not going to go into it here because you can see it on the form. We also don't want to have someone coming in on the day and finding out that they can't check the boxes. And that was the only volunteer that one of the churches had sent. He came late, and he also wasn't able to be there. He thought I was very rude. I agreed, but he did not participate. So the other thing too is that if you do have an alumni network of people who have finished the books, the parents, that's a good place to draw your volunteers from. Because if it turns out they're not watching your kid or your grandkid, you're much more likely to be able to help during the day and not be as distracted and not be running around as much. It's just one of those things that if you don't have an alumni network that you've built up now, start building it now, because 10 years from now, these are the people who will be able to be your volunteers in the future. And the last thing too, the insurance, we increased our insurance levels because we had to for the venues. We absorbed that cost this time. If it turns out there's going to be another increase, and it's just a good business practice, check with your business office and get a special rider for the day. Because that means that it doesn't cost you anything extra. It also insures your people for the $1 million, $2 million things. And it's something that if we have all the churches doing that, when we have the next price increases, all of us already at $3 million, then we don't have to raise prices. So it's just a good thing to be able to get into now. And one of the things that I'll finish up with, I've been doing a bibliography on theology of worship. And I've been trying to bring worship from 14 minutes on Sunday morning into the rest of my life. And one of the books that I have here talked about having the people who are leading events prepare their head, prepare their heart, and prepare their hands. As we work with the kids, remember that this is a chance to be able to do that. We can help them to know the games, we can help them to have a heart for Jesus, and we can help them to be able to live that out in their daily lives. Now I'll turn it over to Jay.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. One of the things we want to tell the people that are online, if you can mute your microphone for us, and we have somebody that's on a computer and they're going to monitor the chat. So if you've got questions, type in the chat to them, and
Otherwise,
then we can, oh, I thought you were like, we're not going to blast this off, are we?
If I hear you on the computer.
So, Bill, if you're talking, no. Heidi, if you can mute your microphone, because you keep bouncing in, so thanks so much. So, all right. One of the things that we're going to do here is I'm going to do some screen sharing, so you're not going to see the talking head right now. So let me jump over here and do the screen share. All right, so now I don't have to be centered or anything, and it should be working fine.
Good to go.
We're good to go. All right. Listen. Warren has this great thing that he likes to say, that when he was a kid, he came and did. Why is it not going? There we go. All right. Sparks-A-Rama. Why do we do Sparks-A-Rama? Sparks-A-Rama is basically so that moms, dads, boys, and girls can come to know and love Jesus Christ. This is a ministry outreach that we do. It's not, the end goal is not for your kids to be able to play games. All right? The end goal is that people come to know Jesus Christ. And we're going to have a blast doing the games, and then ultimately, when we have the gospel presentation, we're hoping that people come to know Jesus through that. There's some, this takes too long. So we want to motivate your clubbers to come to attend Awana. And I remember hearing Warren talk about this all the time. When he was a kid, not necessarily in Sparks, but in Pals and Pioneers from a long time ago, the requirement was to do 10 sections to be on the team. And he came to club and did his 10 sections solely to be on an Awana Games team. And I know Warren is not the only one that ever did that. I did it. I know a bunch of my friends did. The only reason we passed our sections was so that we could be on that team and have a blast out there. Spark-A-Rama is there for us to reach unsaved parents to hear the gospel. We are going to try to run the event as professionally as possible. We're going to start on time. That means we need teams there on time. We're going to run it efficiently. We're going to run it well. Our line judges and circle directors are well trained, so you're going to see a professional event, and that helps enhance the gospel message that we have later on. All right. So the end goal, it's not the actual physical competition, it's the presentation of the gospel, and we believe that this will honor the Lord. 1 Timothy 4:8 says, "For bodily exercise profits little, but godliness is profitable unto all things, having the promise of the life that now is, and of that which is to come." It's not about anything else except for, it's just about the gospel. It's not the physical competition. All right. Get on to some logistic things. It's $3 to get in. We've not raised that price in years, and we don't intend to. We've had a few people that give us some funds that help us keep those costs down. Team members, coaches, anybody that's under before kindergarten, you're admitted free. Pastors and their spouses are in free. If they've got 6 kids, they're in free. What kind of a pastor? Listen, if you're a children's pastor, a senior pastor, or whatever, and you think that you should get in free, we're going to let you in for free. If you think that you should get in free and you lie to us and tell us you're a pastor, well, you're the one that's got to pray later on in life.
Yeah, we also have like a family max of $15 for nuclear family. Doesn't mean if you bring aunts, uncles, grandma, grandpa, they're all in for 15. It means like your immediate nuclear family. Also, if it turns out a family is experiencing hardship, economic because of job loss or because of something else, see one of us in the gray shirts and just say, "I need 3."
Yep.
And I'll flip you 3. I mean, I will give you the wristbands.
That's good. So nobody's going to be turned away, the spectator, because they can't pay the entrance fee. We're going to let them in. The team assignments for your Sparks teams is determined by how well you did in the previous year. So it's really, if your team is always winning, well, you're going to be against teams that always win. If you've got a huge church, we're not going to put you up against a church that every single Sparky makes the team, because it's just not fair for the smaller churches. So it's based on how you did in the past and your club size. All right. Volunteers, this Dave kind of hit on this. Each team, not each church, needs to supply 2 volunteers, and we always need line judges. And a line judge is a man, it's not a lady. Right now, we do that, and we typically say that because if we open it up to ladies and men, guys, sorry, but we're notorious for just bowing out and letting the ladies handle everything for these events. So we want guys out there helping us do this thing. If you're 18 and above, fantastic, we can take you. If you know the games, if you don't know the games, we can teach you the games.
And also, on a broader picture, getting men involved also means that when we have camp, we have a pool of men who are involved, who are getting involved, and able to help there, so that we don't have, the ratios get better in terms of being able to mentor the people, the young people who are a little on the older age.
All right, so volunteers, David alluded to this. They've got to have the day of event form, and that's on the website. It's, if you don't have that form filled out, you can't do it. We have a new location this year. We're not at Westminster. We're at Aurora Christian. Westminster has served us well. We were getting a little bit too big for it. We only could fit 2 circles. Aurora Christian, we can have 3 circles. We're not to the place where it was Lyons Township. We had for many years where we could have 4 circles and fill them up with flights, but our numbers are increasing. So TNT is at 9 a.m. on March 14th. Sparks is at noon, and then Trek Journey is at 2:30. If we fill up the morning TNT session, then we'll have more TNT in the afternoon, but we will fill the morning session up before we go to the afternoon session. All right. We have Division II and Division IV teams for Sparkorama this year. A Division II team is the larger team. That's 10 to 12 players, all right? At least 3 of them have to be boys and all the rest can be girls, or vice versa. Or we have Division IV, which is 5 to 6 person teams. Bottom line is, don't show up with all boys or all girls. Try to have at least one of each gender in there. If that's all you can do is show up with 6 girls and that's what you got, we'll deal with it. You'll be fine. All right. Only 2 coaches per team. The coaches, they're supposed to stay behind the team lines at all time, but it's a little different with Sparkies. We do kind of let you come out there and place your kids, but you have to do it quickly because otherwise the meet doesn't, it's normally a 90-minute meet and then it turns into a 2-hour and 20-minute meet if the coaches are out there continuously. All right, no spectators inside the roped off areas. The only people that are in the roped areas or on the game floor are the participants, the players, and the line judges and the coaches. Everyone that's inside the roped off area has filled out the volunteer form, and they're vetted. So we don't want moms and dads coming onto the floor.
That includes photographers.
Yeah.
That includes, but does not, if someone has a special needs child that needs to have a one-on-one aid, that is not included in that. They're not counted as a coach. If you have a special needs kid that needs a one-on-one, let us know. They'll have them do the volunteer form. They'll be on the floor with no problem.
Okay, so coaches, players not participating in an event, they're behind their team color line. That's a safety thing. We don't want runners tripping on somebody who's supposed to be not playing that event. Contested calls. Our line judges are well-trained, circle directors are well-trained, they know the rules, but we're human and we do make mistakes. If you feel that we've made an error in a call, you go follow the chain of command, and the chain of command goes from the players down at the bottom. They talk to their team coaches, the team coaches then talk to their line judge, the line judge then talks to the circle director. You may personally know the circle director, maybe they go to your church. It doesn't mean that you as a coach can just walk straight up past your line judge and talk to the circle director for a contested call. If the circle director sees you talking to the line judge because you've got an issue with the call, they're going to walk over anyway and help you resolve that call. All right, good on that? All right. Every single game that we run or event, there's two, we'll call them sportsmanship points or honor points that are included with that. You have to do something, or your clubbers have to do something to not get those 2 points. Kicking pins is one way of not getting your sportsmanship points. You can think of ways that the kids can not get them. It's very rare, and I don't think I've ever seen it on a Sparks team where we've not given the sportsmanship points. We use whistles to start the Sparky events. I'm the guy that screwed up last year. I did a horn, I'm sorry, but we'll try to remember to do whistles for Sparkies, which is a horn for TNTers to start all the events. Your children, your players need to do it past 10 sections, at least in club. You've got some kids that it's very difficult to pass 10 sections. They're passing them to you as their leader. You're the one that determines what a help is and how many helps they get for a section. So pretty much anyone should be able to get through 10 sections to be qualified. Dress code. We ask that you dress modestly. No yoga pants and the tight-fitting stuff, all right? Everybody's wearing tennis shoes on the floor. That's coaches and kids. For Sparkies, one of the big things is the knee pads. Make sure the knee pads that they're going to use in the Sparky crawl, they're soft. We don't want to be marring up the floor and have to pay for a brand new gym floor because, well, our costs for team will skyrocket, for next year.
And that is something that did actually come up last year. There were some of the coaches actually that were wearing the yoga pants. It was not received well.
So, all right. So when you have your practices, just have your kids dress like the last practice, like you want them to dress for the actual event, and check them out. It's not that big of a deal for Sparkies, but the older kids, this is where it gets interesting. And you as a coach, you should be dressed modestly. So set an example there for us. Okay, arrival. When should you actually show up to the games? Well, if the Sparkorama starts at noon, you should be getting there at 11:15 with your team, and then you've got 2 coaches with your team. One coach is going to check the team in. Now, what does that mean?